morning, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and I am doing a review on Roy's Light and Soft Fluffy, apple cookies. I'm going to put his link for the recipe down below. This comes from Recipes with Roy, and I wanted to do a review of his apple cookies because when I saw him make them, they looked really good to me, and I love apple and I love fall, and this is a perfect time to try these out. So let's get started. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is line my cookie sheet with parchment paper, and then I'm going to the oven to preheat it at 350 degrees. I'm going to start off with 2 cups of flour. You can use all-purpose flour. I always use whole wheat pastry flour whenever I can. So I'm using that. I'm using 1 3/4 cups of that, and then 1/4 cup I use vanilla whey protein powder, and Roy says that you can do that to bump up the protein if you like. I thought that was a great idea. And I'm also using 1/2 cup of sugar replacement. This is the one I'm using, the Splenda Magic Baker. I find it to be sweeter. And then I'm going to be using 1/2 teaspoon of this apple pie mix. Roy actually has a recipe for his own if you'd like, so that helps. Or you could use cinnamon if you'd like. I'm also using 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and that's in here with my apple pie flavoring. And I have 2 eggs, which I have them sitting in a warm bowl to bring down the temperature because I want them at room temperature. I also have 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce, and I'm using 2 apples, and he mentioned to make sure you use the apples that are meant for baking, not the airy dessert apples. You want the ones that are kind of, be a little bit more firm and sweet for baking, maybe even tart if you'd like. I'm using some confectioner's sugar when it's all done to sprinkle on top, make it look pretty. Oh, and just in case I forgot, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to put all the dry ingredients in this bowl first. Very, very simple. Just put all your dry in here, and then I'm going to take a whisk and just mix it all up together. I'm going to take a whisk and come over here and beat the eggs until they are a uniform color. So I want them mixed up really good, the yellows with the whites. And now I'm going to add the rest of the wet ingredients, which is the applesauce, and that is going to get mixed in really good. Now I have all of my, see how I cut up my apples? And you can cut them bigger or smaller if you want to, but he says 1/2 inch pieces. And I think I pretty much got them 1/2 inch. I hope this is okay. Now I'm going to put the wet into a little well in the center of the dry, and then I am going to mix them up really good. Now with quick breads and things like that, you don't want to overmix, so I'm just going to mix it until it's combined. Do it. Oh, now the apples go in, don't they? Look at that. Oh, that looks so good. I love crunchy cold apples. There's like nothing better. Look at this. So this mixes up really well. And again, I'm not over mixing. I'm just kind of like folding it in until they're nice and combined. And I'm going to take 1/4 cup and drop them by 1/4 cup about 1/2 inch away. And Roy's look better than mine, but these are mine. And they're going into the oven. I'm going to set my timer for about 25 minutes. He says they're going to be golden brown on the top, lightly browned on top. Now mine spread out just a little bit more than his, and it might be because of the way that I use the protein powder and my whole wheat pastry flour. I don't know what it is, but it still looks good, and it smells absolutely amazing. So he says to let them cool completely. I didn't have a problem getting them off of the cookie sheet at all, so after a couple minutes I took them off carefully and I put them on little racks so they could cool completely. And they made the house smell so good. When everybody came in tonight, they were oohing and aahing about them and wanted one right away. Look at these, aren't they pretty? I just love them. And now I'm going to put them, top them with a little bit of confectioner's sugar. I could see a glaze being on top of this too. There's so many things I think you can do with these sweet little cookies. And they're almost like scones, they've got a fluffiness about them. I could see maybe having them with some yogurt and fruit. Maybe I'm going a little overboard with the powdered sugar. Sorry if I am, adding another point or so. But anyway, look how pretty they are. And they're just going to add just the right touch to our fall celebrations. All right, so I have to tell you the verdict here. They're very light and lightly sweet, but they're really good. And everybody had one for dessert after dinner one night. Everybody liked them. And this is a really good sign. My husband said, could you just like wrap a couple of those up and stick them on top of my coffee pot in the morning, my coffee machine, and I will have those with my coffee. He always likes a sweet with his coffee, and so he's been enjoying that. I stuck some in the fridge in a Ziploc because Roy said to put them in a nice airtight container in the fridge. So that's what I did. And I had other plans for some. So this morning I thought, there is nothing but goodness in these. So I'm going to have them for breakfast. And I took a tablespoon of light cream cheese, heated it in the microwave for like 10 seconds, mixed it with a tablespoon of light Cool Whip. So I made a nice little fluffy, creamy thing to put between the two cookies. And I sandwiched those together like a big oatmeal little Debbie cake. Oh my goodness, you guys, I'm doing it again. That was amazing, and I really liked that. I liked the textures, and I felt like I was eating a piece of cake for breakfast. I don't know, it was just really good. So I want to recommend them, and I'm going to put the link for the recipe below. And I want to thank Roy for coming up with that wonderful, soft and fluffy apple cookies. All right, guys, I'll see you soon. Here's my breakfast. I've got a small egg, half cup of egg whites, and then I have 2 of those amazing apple cookies with the creamy filling inside and some grapes. And this was very filling, lots of fiber for breakfast. And I have to tell you, look at the size of this thing. Look how big it is. This was really a treat this morning. I hope that you will make these, and whether or not you try the filling or not, they're worth it.